Hello and welcome to another random map game. Not long ago, one of you guys suggested in the comments that I commentate a game where both players play as the Japanese. And today I was looking on AOC Zone and I saw one where it was a Japanese war. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this game. I've not really watched much of this game yet. So I don't know how it's going to go, but in yellow, down to the sort of southwest of the map, we do have Instant Crush, aka Millo. I believe you've seen some stuff from Millo before. He was in the Age of Empires, Forgotten Empires beta team, and he played quite a few games in there. So yeah, he's a pretty well known player. He's about 2k I think, and he's playing off as yellow down to the bottom left as Japanese. His opponent in the north, we do have Vienne Dark Knight playing as Japanese as well in green, and the map is Archipelago or Archipelago. I don't know how it's pronounced, but yeah. So Japanese then, a civilization even that we don't see very often. And why Japanese? Well, Japanese aren't really chosen that often. I mean, they're a pretty good civilization actually, and it's surprising that you don't see them played that often. But you know what it's like, nowadays with everyone just wanting to play Hun Wars all of the time. But what is good about the Japanese, and what are their strengths on this map? Well, Japanese have good fishing ships, that is for sure. And as you can see, Archipelago has a lot of fish, lots of big fish, pretty much all around. It's like one big island with two small islands on the side containing a stone patch and some gold over here as well. So basically they have an increase in fishing ship work rate per age that they go up. So feudal age they get a plus 5% increase, castle age plus 10%, etc. And that means that having fishing ships up is going to be a great boost to their economy, as they will be able to gather a lot of fish. What else is a bonus? Well, their lumber camps, their mills are cheaper as well. They cost 50% less wood, which means that getting that first dock up nice and early is very easy to do as well. And that is pretty good for them. If they're on a water map, if they're not against Vikings, then they're in a pretty good position, as they do have fully upgraded boats or galleys, I do believe. They can upgrade all the way to galleon, they can upgrade to bracer as well, and they can get chemistry, so and of course ballistics, so their galleons can be upgraded very easily. Well, not very easily, but they can be upgraded to the max, basically. Dark Knight just putting his dock down right now then, and we see Millo doing exactly the same. And they will get out quite a few fishing ships before they go up to the feudal age. And once they get up to feudal, that bonus is really going to start to kick in. So of course, having less cost for your lumber camp and your mill does mean that you can save a little bit of wood, and you can get that dock up a little bit earlier, and create some fishing ships a lot easier as well. It's strange because for some reason when I'm playing in the fast playback, it sometimes goes really fast and then it slows down again, it goes really fast. But for now I'm going to keep things on fast speed while we go through the Dark Age, because there's not really a lot to see in the Dark Age. I know for a fact there is no drushing on this map. One other thing to note as well then is that the centre of the map is very easy to wall. I mean, there's only two tiny areas here that you can actually pass through, and unless you make transport ships, if the other person walls off, it's very easy to protect yourself and keep them out, basically. So that's worth noting. So it's very common on this map to see walling in the middle and then grushing on the water, followed by a reasonably fast castle time with more galley rushing, and basically whoever wins the water usually wins the game. But I know for a fact that this game is slightly different. I'm not going to reveal anything just yet, but you will see that fairly shortly. You can see though that Millo is adding in a lot of lumber camps right here. Finally, a mining camp, sorry, I was going to say 2 lumber camps and a mining camp. It would have been weird for him to put another lumber camp here, as it is next to the gold. Mill going up as well, and he's sending 3 villagers, as opposed to the usual 4 when doing a forwards towards Dark Knight's base. He's going to go right outside of his base there, plonk down a barracks, and he's about to hit up to the feudal age, so good timing on that. Of course, Dark Knight already up to feudal now, and we have a look at his docks. He's surprisingly not making galleys. He's continuing to add in fishing ships. I think maybe after this round of fishing ships he'll start to add some galleys in. We'll see how many villagers he has taken gold right now. That's only 4, so he'll probably go for That's about right. He should add some galleys right now. Just kind of waiting to see that, because of course he can safely assume that Millo is going to be taking water at some point. If we have a look at his line of sight though, I believe he can actually see these buildings, so he is very well aware of Millo's advances on land, and I think that's probably why he has not made any galleys just yet, because it's kind of one or the other. If you're going to attack on land, you can't really afford to attack on the water as well. You just don't have the resources to do it. You kind of have to choose one and stick with it. So Dark Knight going to throw up a watchtower on his gold there to make sure that stays nice and safe. Of course, gold going to be so important in this. It's going to be important to get galleys out a bit later on if he needs them. It's going to be important as well to make his feudal army. He's got a barracks down right now. We'll see if he goes for an archery range or something. He's obviously seen this, so he knows Millo is doing that. And Millo with 2 archery ranges on the front, probably making archers. Yeah, there we go. Housed, but not too much of a problem. He'll be able to get some houses up real quick with these 4 villagers, and yeah, so he's going to have his archers coming out pretty quickly, and Dark Knight going to be there with his watchtower pretty much defended. Perhaps Millo will be able to get in and do some damage, but Dark Knight looks like he's walling in very nicely, very quickly, and he should be able to keep everything ticking over for now. Millo, risky maneuver right here, going for a watchtower, and that looks really, it does look in range of that TC, so I don't know why he's put the watchtower there. He's a little bit gutsy, a little bit ballsy to do that. I really don't see that actually coming off and paying off for him. I just don't see how he's going to get that watchtower there. Dark Knight adding in another archery range, so he will be walled up pretty quickly, and Millo not going to be able to get that watchtower up, so I have to delete that and put it somewhere else, just building houses and a mining camp for the time being. He's going to try and build some more towers by the looks of things, and if he can get towers all the way around Dark Knight's base, then he will be in a good position, as he will really keep pressure on, and at the very least keep him inside of his base, which is kind of exactly where he wants him to be. Dark Knight still not added in any galleys just yet, I don't think, and that's kind of surprising. He really needs the wood for the archery ranges, of course, and to make some land army, but adding in a couple of galleys right now and sending them over to Millo's fishing ships would be a really, really good idea. I think he actually has more fishing ships out on the water. As you can see, he's got a lot more there than Millo has, but even so, taking out these fishing ships would be a really big advantage to him, as Millo will be losing a lot of food from that, and it really doesn't take much. All he needs is a little bit of gold and wood, and he can really prevent Millo from getting a lot of food throughout the duration of the game. So that's something he should bear in mind, and I think he probably will add in some galleys at some point, as will Millo, as if this land attack doesn't go right and it goes a bit belly up, then they will transition into water, of course. Millo then, with his tower up, not really the best position on that. I don't think it's in range of this tower at Lumber Camp, but at the very least it's going to help him to defend his forward. Dark Knight, of course, has started to make some archers and skirmishers, and if he does bring them out, then of course Millo will be able to get inside that watchtower and help his army out, really. Going to add a few villagers to stone, looking like he's going to try and get up another tower if he can. At the very least, get enough stone so once he reaches the castle age, he will be able to get some more town centres out, 2 more town centres. This is quite funny. Dark Knight on the right trying to wall up there, but actually leaving a massive gaping hole in his wall. I don't think he meant to do that, and Millo is right into his base. That was a little bit of a mistake on his behalf. If he'd have walled that up, Millo would not have managed to get in, but it looks like he's actually managed to outmass him in the skirmisher department. He certainly seems to have a few more, and unless Millo's micro is better, then I can't really see how he's going to be able to get out of there without losing too many men. So he's going to retreat out of the way, and Dark Knight, I can't believe he still left that hole in the wall, but oh well, you live and you learn. Looks like he's going to place, as you saw, the wall just changed there, so he's going to place a piece of wall down, and there you see, placing the wall down, and he's going to get himself nice and defended from Millo. Millo then trying to get really aggressive and really put the pressure on here. It doesn't seem to be working out all too well for him at the moment. So look at his base. He's got 3 villagers on gold, a lot of villagers on wood, food, and wood of course as well. Let's see if he's actually... Okay, he's queued up a galley, so looks like he's going to try and go for water eventually, but there's already a galley on the way over from Dark Knight. One thing to note, Dark Knight has 3 docks right here, so he's going to have the potential to add a lot more galleys in very, very quickly. And Millo, of course, is going to be a little bit further behind on that. So that galley going to come over from Dark Knight. Galley from Millo about to come out, but this galley is going to reach over first. Dark Knight, of course, going to see that Millo only has one dock. Going to see that he's got fishing ships in here and nothing to protect them. One thing I have noticed, Millo getting housed quite a lot this game so far, which I kind of didn't expect to see, but hey ho, that is the case. And, oh, nice. Dark Knight coming forwards with some villagers to rush this tower. He'll take that tower down very easily indeed, coming forwards at the same time with his army. And I believe he had more units there. He should actually be able to take this out. I'm not sure. Looks like Millo microing quite nicely, though, managing to take out a reasonable amount of units. Dark Knight bringing his villagers over, getting them stuck in there as well. And Millo going to potentially win this. It's so hard to call it. It looks like they're very even on skirmishers right now. Dark Knight doing the right thing though, moving his skirmishers back over here to take out the sort of weak ones, and bringing his villagers in there as well to act as meat shields and tank some of that damage. Of course, they really take a lot of damage from skirmishers. They've got +1 right now, both of them do. Dark Knight has +1 defense as well, so it still only means that one of these skirmisher sort of spears is going to do 1 damage to a villager. That means one villager can soak up 40 skirmisher spears, and they work very well as meat shields, getting in there, tanking some of the damage, and Dark Knight could win it because of that. He's creating more skirmishes, so is Millo as well, but it looks, yeah, I'll come back to this in a minute, it looks very even. On the water though, look at this, Dark Knight here with galleys coming over. It looks like he's going to lose that one, but if he does realise and cotton onto this, yes he has, adding in more galleys right now, he's going to be able to take the water from Millo by the looks of things, and Millo going to lose his fishing ships. That's kind of a big deal. So Dark Knight then starting to win this battle here. Millo gonna have to come back a little bit. Still chasing him down with his villagers, which is certainly quite amusing. Could lose 1, but I mean it's really not a big deal. Millo's lost a couple here as well, and now he is still creating archers, still creating skirmishers, but Dark Knight here, he should really wall these archery ranges in, and this is the problem with doing a forwards now. If the forward does go belly up and it doesn't really work out, your opponent can just wall your buildings in, and you can create units from them, but that's absolutely no use to you if they can't get out. So Dark Knight here going to wall these archery ranges up, and that's a big waste of wood for Millo here. He's going to find himself unable to make any units out of there, as they won't be able to escape the archery range. If he realises this now, he'll probably do the right thing and let his units out quickly before the wall is completed. But I don't think he's actually realised this is being walled in. Oh, there we go. He has realised now, releasing the units, and he might maybe get a villager. He's going to be able to do a little bit, but I mean, it's not going to be able to stop these archery ranges from being walled in now, and that's kind of a big deal. Millo then realises he's lost this forward now. All of his skirmishers are being picked off. Dark Knight clearly has the superior army here, and he's falling back, building a gate and a wall over at this choke point in the centre of the map, and going to keep himself very well defended from Dark Knight. But over on the water, Dark Knight, nicely done, adding in those galleys nice and early, managing to take out a load of fishing ships from Millo, and look how many fishing ships he has on the water. That is a reasonable amount right there, and it does mean that Millo is going to have a severe disadvantage here going into the castle age. He has clicked up to castle right now. We'll have a look at Dark Knight. He's still feudal. He is actually quite away from castle. He does need a lot more food, and one thing I did note is he really has no farms. But of course, he has got the extra fishing ships, so he's going to have a reasonable food income. And providing, yes he has, I was going to say, providing he stopped producing skirmishes, he's not going to be wasting any food there either. So he will be able to go up to castle in a pretty good time, I think. But Millo going to be there a little bit earlier, and we'll see if he can make anything of that. Of course, Dark Knight with a lot of galleys on the water, taking out most of Millo's fishing ships, and that is kind of a big deal. Millo going to lose them and lose his sort of eco advantage that he could have had he kept them on the water. A lot of farms out for him though, so I suppose he's not so bothered about that. But even so, it's obviously not an ideal situation to be in. Adding in 3 docks over on the right here, and distracting Dark Knight. And you know what, I was surprised at? I actually thought that he was going to chase those fishing ships down and see the rest of the docks, see him actually building docks, which would indicate that he is going up to the castle age. We'll see if Dark Knight actually scouts this. Doesn't look like he will actually, but he is continuing to make galleys, which is of course really important. I think in his mind he has pretty firmly won the water, though that is a risky assumption to make because Millo is about to hit castle age right now, and although he really doesn't have many galleys, he's starting to make them, and he will have +2 attack from Bodkin Arrow, and he will have War Galley upgrade in just a few moments time. In fact, just a second now. He will add those upgrades pretty much instantaneously. Bodkin Arrow there and War Galley right there, and Dark Knight now probably not expecting Millo to be up that fast, as obviously he was the aggressor going into the Feudal Age. He will be clicking up to castle right now, but it's going to be a while before he reaches that, and Millo could catch him off guard here, because I don't think Dark Knight realises quite how many docks Millo has. 60% on the War Galley upgrade, +2 is about to be completed, and although Dark Knight has the numbers advantage right now, Millo could very quickly turn this around. 85% on War Galley, and as soon as that is done, Millo is going to be able to attack this by the looks of things. 4 or 5 War Galleys right there, make that 7, and he is going to be chasing Dark Knight down, and Dark Knight, even though he has got a lot more, a few more galleys on the water, he's lacking the upgrades, and that does mean that Millo will be able to take this fight fairly easily, I think. I don't want to make assumptions just yet, but it looks like he should be able to take it, and Millo knows what he has done is the right thing, because he's starting to take out Dark Knight's fishing ships, and of course that is an advantage that Dark Knight had over him for quite some time, and he's going to just close that advantage and put an end to it. So that is really nice play by him. Up to the castle edge right now. Nice and early, adding in the War Galleys, and he should be able to retake water. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. I mean, this is a huge advantage that he's got here. Dark Knight throwing away a lot of galleys here as well to fight this, and Millo should be able to really start to take this from him on the water right now. There's a lot of galleys there, and Dark Knight going to struggle, I think, to actually get the galleys he needs to actually stop him right now. So he would have been better off, instead of fighting that, he would have been a lot better off just to retreat, bring all of his fishing ships back, and wait until he'd reached the castle age and then upgrade and fight, because he probably would have had a numbers advantage if he did that. His economy does look a little unbalanced. He has got a lot of gold right now, and he does need to spend that. He's adding in more galleys, of course. I don't see the War Galley upgrade, though, unless he's doing it at this dock over here. Yes, he is. As well as, of course, Bodkin Arrow. Pretty much standard upgrades for any water map. And we see now Millo starting to push forwards. And he could take out a lot of fishing ships from Dark Knight if he gets him trapped into a corner. Where's he going to retreat to? Well, he's going to have to retreat all the way around the back of his island. And we'll see if that actually works out for him. But obviously a lot of ships lost there. And Millo was behind, like, massively in the score quite a while ago, but he's really starting to catch up now as well. His economy starting to get into full swing, adding in his second town centre, and perhaps a third sometime soon as well. We'll probably see that very shortly. No third TC or second TC from Dark Knight yet, but of course he's going to be investing most of his resources right now into getting galleys out and trying not to lose the water here. He's desperately trying not to lose the water because it's such a big deal. Any water map like this, it's just so important that you have that water control. It really does make a big difference. One nice little manoeuvre he did over here, though, sending some galleys over here for the time being, and once they upgraded, managing to get over here and do a little bit of damage to Millo, but Millo had enough galleys back at home, and Dark Knight going to bring some back, and it looks like this could be a little bit of a sandwich manoeuvre here, actually. If he does bring these units back over to this area of the map, he will be able to possibly sandwich Millo in, and Millo will find himself in a bad situation, losing a lot of galleys there. It was obviously his army is pretty split up, and that's something that you kind of want to avoid as much as you possibly can. So the second TC for Millo is up. I don't see a third just yet. Perhaps that will be on the way fairly soon. Let's look at his eco. Yeah, he doesn't have enough wood at the moment, but surprise surprise, he's found himself actually housed again, which does seem to be the case with him a lot this game. Perhaps he's a little bit rusty on that front, but if he wasn't housed as much, he really would have probably a bigger advantage right here on the water, at least. Really starting to close the score gap now, though, and that is pretty good. boats going around the back of Dark Knight's island, and Dark Knight with a lot of galleys right now. Let's actually check that. 23 to Millo's 23, so it's pretty much neck and neck, and considering he lost a lot of galleys at the start, he's really done a good job to bring that number back up and keep himself in the lead with the scores for the time being. The question is now, is he going to have a good enough economy to support it? Well, if we have a look at how many villagers he has, I wish there was a total villager number, but let's do a quick tot-up of that. 20, 30, 40, say 46 villagers right there for Millo, and we're looking at 20, 30, 46 again for Dark Knight, so they are very, very neck and neck at this moment in time. And Millo, though, has managed to take the score lead right here. Now, upgrades really going to start to make a difference. Now, I've not seen whether they've got wheelbarrow or handcart just yet, but one thing is for sure, Millo has got his third TC up right now, and Dark Knight only just starting on his second. So Millo's economy is going to be really, really good at this moment in time, and it's going to just keep accelerating unless Dark Knight gets that second and third TC up very quickly. He is, of course, continuing to make war galleys, but right now he's slowing down his production by the looks of things, as he really is a little bit low on wood, and really focusing on getting plenty of food in and keeping his town centres producing villagers, which these two actually currently aren't, but let's not be too picky. Of course, Dark Knight still has these skirmishes left over, and Millo's going to come over here with his boats, maybe going to catch Dark Knight off a little bit here. Perhaps he could get 1 or 2 kills if he doesn't move them away, but he moves them away pretty quickly actually, and he's going to get himself 1 kill there. Not really a big deal. Those skirmishes really aren't contributing much to this game at the moment. Siege Workshop coming forwards for instant crush, Millo even, and he will potentially, I mean, he could attack in the castle age. It would be a bit risky, as Dark Knight could really take an advantage, or see that as giving him an advantage on the water and push that. So we'll see. But he is starting to come forwards with all of his boats right now in the north of the map, and Millo has not got much army here at all, so Dark Knight is going to be able to push through, but of course Millo doesn't have any fishing ships now anyway, so even if he does push through, he's only going to be able to take the docks, and although that's kind of a big deal, Millo should be able to defend by the time the rest of his army gets around there. So let's have a look. Siege Workshop on the front, nothing actually coming out of there. Anything from Dark Knight at this stage? Well, it doesn't look at the moment like he's thinking about any army. He's finally adding in his third TC. Monastery does go up, so he's potentially going to collect his relics, which is always a good thing to do. That extra gold does help out in the long run, especially in a 1v1 where you can't trade at all. Let's see. Millo, does he have a monastery? I don't know, but he does have a university, and that does mean that ballistics is likely to be researched right now, as well as Dark Knight as well. He probably has ballistics at this stage of the game. Of course, it is 35 minutes in now, so we are really getting to the end of the mid game, and the late game is going to start kicking in once their economies are in full swing, which is, by the looks of things, going to be fairly shortly. One thing, let's have a quick look at their ecos once again though. No battles going on the water just yet. We see that Dark Knight really doesn't have that much food income at the moment, and you can see already at the top there, he really has very little food, and although he has just clicked up to the Imperial age, that does mean that his TCs aren't really going to be making many villagers. Millo, on the other hand, has got so many farms. He's got a lot more farms in comparison. He is already clicked up to the Imperial age, and he's got plenty of food coming in as well, so he can continue to make villagers throughout his advance. So Millo is going to have a much stronger economy, in my opinion, going up to the Imperial age. We'll see how it works out for them. He's also going to have a slight time advantage, though not a huge amount, adding in more docks as well, so it looks like he's really going to ramp up the pressure on the water. No new docks from Dark Knight, which could be a mistake on his behalf. If he doesn't keep up with galley production, then he's going to find himself in a bad position, as Millo will be able to steamroll the water there and really start to take it. So once he gets up to the Imperial age, what upgrades are we going to see? Well, of course, we're going to see bracers straight away from the blacksmith, we're going to see galleon from the dock, and we'll see chemistry from the university. At the moment, Millo, I don't think, has enough gold to do all of those researches at once, but he has got plenty of villagers gathering gold right now, and adding in a monastery as well, so he will eventually take his relics also. Speed things up a slight touch. It's not going to go that fast for some reason, probably because I'm recording, but he should now once he gets up to the Imperial Age, push in here. It's hard to say who has the most galleys by looking at it. Millo on 37, Dark Knight on 43. He has got an advantage with numbers, but Millo, wow, he actually sees that advancing, and that is a lot of galleys right there. He's going to get himself back, but he'll probably push straight back in once he does get his upgrades at the blacksmith. I went on the wrong person. There's Bracer, Galleon being researched as well, and no chemistry just yet. Maybe in just a moment he will research that. Well, there it is. So he just needed the extra food, of course, for that. And he's going to get ready to have fully upgraded galleys. He's going to be ready to push forwards and try and do what damage he can with them. Let's see if it works out for him. Going to push forwards right now. Numbers wise, 44 to 49. It's so close. Millo, of course, with a huge upgrade advantage. He really should be pushing now instead of waiting and attacking these houses. Perhaps he's going to house Dark Knight. I don't think it's going to happen. Now is the time to push. I just noticed at the back of Dark Knight's base, he's put a gate here. That's really cool because you can actually put your gate, so you can actually send your ships through here. But if there's a gate, that means Millo, if he does get over here, he'll be trapped and he'll have to turn back around, which I think is really cool. It's not, I've never really seen that before in a game, but it's a really cool idea, and it could work out if Millo actually does try and go through there if he's retreating. Of course, might not be the case. Again, Millo at his base, getting ready now with his siege workshop, adding in some battering rams, adding in archery ranges. We'll see what he's going to do. He could go for some archers here. Of course, Japanese are an infantry civilization. Whether or not he goes for infantry, well, he's not, because he's adding in archery ranges. So we'll see what he actually decides to do there. Of course, he could go for archer, crossbow, arbalest, and all that, but that would probably be a good idea, but the problem is the gold cost of that is going to be very high. He really hasn't got much gold at this stage of the game. Although he's got plenty on his map, it isn't infinite, and he really has to be careful with where he's actually spending his gold. So we'll see what he does. Siege Workshop is going up. Perhaps he'll upgrade those rams at some point as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Wow, a lot of boats on the water here, and there's going to be a big battle anytime soon. I just know it. One of them is going to feel like they've got an advantage, while the other feels like they've got an advantage, and then they'll just go for it. At the moment, it's a bit back and forth. It's like, do I want to go in? Don't I want to go in? Do I want to go in? Don't I want to go in? And it's really sort of back and forth, but eventually they're both going to get to the point where they think they've got the advantage and they'll just go for it, and we'll see a big water battle, so I will keep an eye on that over there. Let's see what's going on over here though. Keep an eye on the blacksmith, because I don't actually see anything from Dark Knight here. It's literally just boats from him. Really low on gold, to be expected, I suppose. But yeah, I don't really see much in the way of any preparation to go military at all. No upgrades at the blacksmith coming in, nothing at the archery ranges either. And he should probably be thinking about that, because Millo is, and Millo is starting to put up a castle right there as well, continuing to build up on his side of the map, getting ready for an advancement, and we'll see if it actually works out for him. Have to just wait and see. Looks like upgrades being completed, but I missed what they were. Stables coming in, archery ranges going down, castle going up as well, and Millo now really getting ready to start a push over towards Dark Knight's base. And I think Dark Knight's economy slightly further behind here. It's hard to say for sure, but it certainly looks like he's got less villagers at a glance. Again, hard to say, but I would certainly say Millo has an advantage on that in that regard. A lot of gold now in the bank for him. Elite skirmisher research being done, and padded archer armor as well. So Millo actually going to go with a lot of massed skirmishers by the looks of things. Interesting, getting the padded archer armor there. So he is going to be ready to push by the looks of things. Adding in some elite skirmishers right now. Thumb ring being researched, and capped rams are coming forwards. This could be a big attack from Millo. He's not really got much army right now, but he will be able to add it in very quickly. Also, at the same time, starting to push forwards with his galleons on the water. Dark Knight potentially here going to be a little bit caught off guard. He's going to see this down here. He's going to be like, oh, he's attacking me on land. I better do something about that. Let's see what he actually does. We'll have to check back on that in a second. Big water battle going on over in the north right here. Sorry about the lag. I really don't know why that is. This computer is more than capable of handling it. I don't know why it's lagging, but Either way, who is going to win this? It certainly looks like Dark Knight has an advantage on the ships. 72 for him to Millo's 64. So he has got a big advantage in numbers there. Let's see if he can actually take it, or will it even matter? Because if he does win the water, it's going to be very hard for him to win the land, because he really doesn't have that much here. Starting to wall up really desperately, adding in a couple of siege workshops as well, but Millo has started to make his advance. Elite skirmishers being streamed out right now as well, and we'll see if that actually works out in his favour. Back over here, Millo having to retreat slightly. 48 warships left over for him. Dark Knight on 39. Surprisingly, pardon me, he managed to win that battle. And I really actually wasn't expecting that to happen. Dark Knight had a lot more galleons there, but he's managed to lose it. And although Millo is retreating, he should have the numbers advantage, so we'll see if that works out for him. Capture rams coming in though, and all Dark Knight has to defend at this stage is archers and skirmishers. There really is not a lot here. Adding in elite skirmishers of his own, copying the same strategy, getting up a mangonel, desperately trying to get that out. That'll be huge if you manage to get a big mangonel shot out on there. But Millo coming forwards with castles and the like, starting to stream forwards with his skirmishers, adding the rest of the upgrades as well, and continuing to push forwards on the water, which unfortunately we can't really watch because it lags too much. But this is really nice from him, coming forwards with a lot of skirmishers right now, castle going up as well, and it's going to be a really tough time for Dark Knight to defend. I don't think he was expecting that land attack, but I mean really, he should have been expecting it. It's 40 minutes into the game. The land attack is eventually going to come. Trebuchet is coming out. Light cavalry is coming out as well, and Millo should have a really nice army composition here. It doesn't require too much gold, and of course if you can take most of Dark Knight's army out without even using any gold, then that means more gold for the late game, where it really is going to make a bigger difference. Pushing forwards on the water once again, looks like he really does have a galley advantage here. It's hard to say, it's always hard to say, especially with the lag. Oh dear, it's not nice to watch that, but I will keep checking back every now and then to see how it goes. Millo, don't know what happened to that castle, don't see the villagers dead, but he should be focusing on trying to get that up in just a moment. But again, continuing to push forwards with a lot of skirmishes here. The rams managing to take out a lot of the buildings. Battle on the water once again, and who is going to take it? Well, I think the winner of this battle might decide the game. If Millo wins this, then it's going to be so hard for Dark Knight to come back. He's got an army in his base, and I think he realises he's lost it. Millo saying, well, GG, Dark Knight saying GG first, of course, and there we go. Millo takes the game. Pretty well played by him, actually. I certainly would say he was coming from behind once he reached the castle age. He did have a big advantage in getting up to the castle age, but army-wise and everything else-wise, he was certainly playing from behind at that stage of the game. But of course, he really started to bring it back once he got his economy into full gear, and Dark Knight struggled, I think, with his economy. He really did pick it up towards the end, but it was quite slow in doing that, and I think that resulted in Millo just having that advantage in getting up to the Imperial age once again, which meant he could have the tech advantage and really start to push here and take it out. Take Dark Knight's base out. So thank you very much for watching. As usual, I've been Zach, and I'll see you guys next time.